Ever since the 49ers lost in the NFC Championship, this game right here has been circled on every fan's calendar. The Eagles are talking shit. The 49ers are talking shit. This game right here is where we figure out who's who and what's what. This game right here is the one that we have been waiting for all season long. And I've got a great Eagles content creator to talk about the game with me, and we're going to do it next. All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. And as I said, it is behind enemy lines, the one we've been waiting for all season long. And I got my guy X with me tonight. X, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm excited for the game. I'm ready for the game. I know you're ready for it. Been tons of trash talk. It's a lot to dissect, honestly, and this is huge. This is probably the biggest game of the entire NFL season. You know, it's the best of the best. So
It's gonna go down, man. This I wondered what the vibe would be like from Philly fans, and we've got a ton of Philly fans in here as well because it's streaming on your channel. I'll be putting up comments from both channels tonight, but I'm just curious the vibe from Philly fans because I know that 49er fans feel incomplete with the way that the game ended last year. My conversation the whole time has been, you got to let it go. As soon as the game was over, after about 24 hours, the excuses, all that, to me, had to go out the window, and we just had to move on. There's no guarantee that the 49ers would have won that game. Yes, they would have had a better chance, but the Eagles were a formidable foe no matter what. That was my opinion on it. But a lot of 49er fans really feel, and I think a lot of that comes from the way the players have portrayed the game as well, as if Brock Purdy had stayed healthy, that it was a foregone conclusion they were going to win the game.
yeah.
Maybe not. But now here we are, and everything, every question that anybody had, it's going to get answered. It's going to get answered on Sunday. And it may have to get answered again in the NFC Championship. Most likely will. This game's huge, X.
You know, the vibe from Philly fans, right? We had no problem with you guys at all, right? There was no animosity, and it really still isn't to a certain degree. But I mean, the 49ers have been talking, leading up to the championship game. They were saying a lot of slick things. It was like they were taking shots. All right, and it's been documented. So I feel like we don't play you guys. You're not in our rivals our teams in the NFC East, right? The 49ers they've been in the Super Bowl championship games. They have a elite roster. We're just on our way building this. The 49ers were already a legit organization and they had pieces. And I coming into the game, I had it zipped because it's the 49ers we're about to play. And I know I have faith in my team, but I know the 49ers the 49ers are loaded. And I hear the chirping, I hear the talking and the shots being fired, and we get into the game, all right. And it was embarrassing. Okay, it was embarrassing, and we went to the Super Bowl. But I feel like the 49ers are so hurt because we took out their only quarterback, right? And it just looked bad. It was it was embarrassing, and I think the players, they didn't like it. They felt like they were embarrassed. And I mean, I honestly I never witnessed so much like trash talk. And really, bro, honestly, it's all really coming from the 49ers. Well, you guys are like bullies. You talk about our fans and bro, your players have been. Okay? Look, I'll leave you with this, right? Hassan Reddick, after the game, he says, "Yeah, we heard them talking. We heard, some of the things that they were saying, and we used that as fuel to the fire." So when the foot off the Eagles, the from the fan base to the players, we all galvanize around that energy of, hey, we're the underdog. We're the underdogs at home at 10-1 with a 10-1 record. That's never happened. So it's like what? It's just all a bro. It's just we just feed it. We feed into it. We and man. It's a lot of energy that goes into the hate. As a content creator and our fan base, we weren't talking our players, we weren't talking any trash. You know, there was nothing. It all came from the 49ers. You guys started this. You guys started.
Oh man, he's putting it on us. Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. I will say the 49ers are they have a swag, they have an arrogance that they roll in with the boom box, they do their thing. The 49ers definitely have a little bit of arrogance
But
about them for sure. And
for
I
the
actually
fans,
I like the
the
trash talk
fans are
though.
just as arrogant.
Yeah.
The fans take on the personality of the players, and it's like you guys are. I get a Dallas Cowboys vibe from you guys, so I kind of understand
Oh,
how to.
no, don't do
I
that
get
to
a
us
Dallas
now, X.
Cowboys vibe from you guys. Okay, both organizations haven't won a Super Bowl in over 20 a quarter century. All right. You've been there. Kyle Shanahan was the coach for the Falcons, and he blew the largest lead in Super Bowl history. So it's like at some point we have to see Super Bowls, and it's like I feel like I kind of feel like you guys beat up on Dallas, right? Okay, I'll give you that, but I still get a Dallas Cowboys vibe from you guys. And if you don't beat us, it's going to look even worse because you guys are it's a lot of talk. I
Oh,
have
we
to
got to
see it
win
on
the
the
game.
field. I have
We
to see
got
it
to
on the
win this
field.
game.
You got to. It's a must win. It's a
Can
must
we
win.
yeah, can we talk about this? I actually didn't have this as a topic, but I think it's
Yeah.
very fitting with the conversation that we are having.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni, talk about arrogant and over the top. And for a head coach,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying what he should and shouldn't do. I'm not a head coach or whatever, but I
Yeah.
do find his shtick very interesting to the point where there
Yeah.
was a point, and this is where to me it got a little out of hand. Was I think it was in the Super Bowl actually, or maybe it was against the Giants. I can't remember, but it was during the playoffs at some point, and Hurts had to come over to him like, "Bro, chill." Like he tapped
Super
him on the
Bowl.
chest, like, "Bro, just
Yeah.
shut your mouth for a
Super
second.
Bowl.
Come on, man, it's too much." What
Yeah.
what do Eagles fans think of Sirianni? Do they like him? Do they wish he wouldn't do those things? Like, what is the vibe that y'all give
Me,
on Sirianni?
me personally, I love any type of form of trash talk, arrogant players. It gives me first off it makes it more interesting, more talking points. We got two teams, they battling it out. It makes it. Me personally, I like it as a fan. So, but if you look at it from here's the thing with those type of antics, it gives the opposing teams like fuel to feed off of. Now they have like it's already hard enough to win in the NFL, right? So when you're doing little antics like Nick Sirianni, it put to other teams and coaches, they begin to not like you or have animosity. And now they have a chip on their shoulder just because just because how he acts. So I mean I'm fine with it, but I know that it just adds it adds like it's a target on your back when you do things like that. So but I like it, man. I like all trash talk. I'm all for it. It's cool. I'm cool with the 49ers doing it. Honestly, it makes it much must see. You have to see it. So as a fan, I love it. But yeah, it adds. It doesn't. I don't feel like it helps. It helps much because you're just helping the opposing team. They're going to
Mm.
use that what they call it bulletin board material. I'd rather just fly under the radar if he could calm it down a little bit, So I, I it's kind of I look at it in two ways. As a fan, I love it, but as a content creator who actually wants the team to win a Super Bowl, I just would, from a strategic standpoint, I would not want to give the opposing teams anything to use against me to fuel them because everybody's talented in the NFL. So yeah, I would. I don't want. I don't know, man. That's tough. But everybody's cool with it. The fan base, all the they don't mind it at all. We feed off of it a little bit, honestly. So I mean, it's cool. He's cool. We don't give him a hard time for that.
All
He's
right,
being
all right.
himself. That's how he is. He's like a
There's a lot of
fan,
things
bro. He's
about
like a
Philly.
fanboy, a fanboy coach. So
I know.
that's just his personality. Some players look at him they kind of laugh at him. They're like, so he gives like a kind of a corny kind of vibe to some of the
Yeah,
players.
that's exactly
AJ
it.
Brown,
Yes.
he's always like making fun of him, right? So but I mean, he's being himself, so that's why we love it. He's being himself, and it's cool. He's
That's
good. He's
fair.
good.
That's
Nobody
fair.
hates this.
All right, all right. And well, everybody else around the league hates him. I'll say that. Let's talk. Let's talk about some of the injuries in this game because I was taking note of this. I know that.
Yeah.
I know. First of all, let's be clear about this. Eagles, and Eagles fans get zero pass for injuries the way that they talked about the game last year, and they shouldn't give the 49ers a pass for losing their quarterback. They won the game. It is what it is. We didn't get a pass or shouldn't be given a pass. This now turns back around potentially in this game. The Eagles are very beat up right now. They have won two very close games against very, very elite quarterbacks in inclement weather, had to come from behind. One of those they did in overtime. But with that is a bit of a war of attrition. Lane Johnson was surprisingly out before the game started. You have Cox, who left the game with an injury. Milton already was out, and a lot of people may not know about Milton, but he's had over 300 snaps this year as a rotational player. He's very, very important to the interior side of that defensive line. So he was already out. Cox was hurt. Goddard has the broken forearm, and you lost Cunningham as well. So out of all those players, Lane Johnson is a must. Out of all those players, we know that Lane Johnson is the most important. But if you could give me one more player that out of those guys that are injured that has to play this week, who would you pick?
Okay. Look, all right. I'll tell you, but I want to hear what if for all. I'll guess. I'll let you guess. What player do you think I'll pick?
I think you're going to say Cunningham because the linebacking core is a bit thin already. So that's the way that I would go with it. But go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going Milton Williams. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
I love watching him play. I don't understand why he's not getting more snaps. I understand it's rotational, but he should definitely be in a starting role. Like if Fletcher doesn't play, I would like to see him start. I just want to see more of him. He's special. He's really good.
Is he better
And
than Cox
he
at this
doesn't get a
stage?
lot of
At this
notice. He's
stage.
a dog.
Okay.
He's a dog. So, and then we have Christian Ellis at linebacker. Christian Ellis, he was fantastic in training camp. So he's tucked away. And now that he's getting his playing time, he made a huge play in the late in the game. So for a tackle for a loss, and man, it was well needed. So he shows flashes. Philadelphia Eagles, we don't linebackers, we don't pay them anything. Like we don't. That's one of the positions where I kind of have a little disdain for the organization because I would like to see a elite level linebacker like what's Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like a player with that type of ability and in the middle of our defense, we thrive. We would love to have it, and they never do anything about it. But the guys who they plug and play a linebacker, they all pan out for some reason. So at this point, whatever plan they have at linebacker, I'll just roll with it. They had T.J. Edwards last year. He went to the Bears. He had led the team in tackles. He got paid by the Bears. He's been lights out for the Bears. So they just figured out a linebacker. So I would definitely say right now, a player that I would want outside of, well, Lane Johnson, of course, like you said, but it would definitely have to be Mill Williams for sure. Mill Williams for sure. Long-winded answer, but yeah, Mill Williams. Mill Williams.
Yeah, Jamil, I agree. Lane Johnson is a must. It sounds like he's in. He said that he expects to play.
He's gonna play.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, that's good for y'all. I think that's going to be needed against our defensive line for sure. And Milton Williams, again, Fletcher Cox is a legend. Very, very good player. I know what he means to that fan base. Yeah. Very, very good player. But at this stage, Milton might be better. Milton might be better.
Exactly, bro. Yes.
So I don't think Cox is the biggest miss if he's out, but yeah, we'll see. We will see. You talked about linebackers, and I want to get your thoughts. Shaq Leonard is no longer an elite linebacker in this league, but he's still under the age of 30. I think he's only 28. He got paid, oddly enough, at the same time as Fred Warner. It was a race at that time. Like, was Fred Warner going to get paid, or was Shaq Leonard going to get paid, and who was going to set the market for the other one? Well, Fred Warner got paid first. Shaq Leonard got that contract and was a little bit higher. And now he's been released by the Colts. For a couple weeks, we've heard rumors that he may end up with Philadelphia. It made a ton of sense on paper. But then we found out yesterday he visited with the Cowboys. Today he visited with the Eagles. He took physicals with both, I understand. Sounds like he passed them. And then over this weekend, so he's not going to play this weekend, but over this weekend, it sounds like he's going to make a decision. Is Leonard somebody that you want the Eagles to get, or do you not really care either way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any upgrade at linebacker, anybody you bring in at linebacker, any depth at linebacker, anything at linebacker is a plus. I mean, that's how depleted this position has been for the longest. And they really don't, I don't think they care. I know they don't care about the position. So yes, bro, a linebacker, yes, absolutely. Absolutely bring him in. I know he has a back. There's a reason he was released from the Colts. Maybe it was something with a contract or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I will bring him in. I definitely will bring him in.
Yeah, I think that they tried to make a big swing on Nakobe Dean. And I think that Nakobe Dean had a ton of potential. And maybe he'll still realize that potential, but right now he has not come close to that. He's been banged up throughout the first 2 years, and when he has played, he hasn't played great. But he was an athlete, came from Georgia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to. There's some drawback a bit there, bro, because I watched all of Nakobe Dean snaps, and every time he's on the field, Um, I see him make plays, or he's always around the ball. He's instinctual. He can kind of like fit in like those little gaps in the defense, so he can fill gaps well. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's all of those things. We he should have been our starter at linebacker, and he got hurt in the preseason with an ankle, and he came back, and then he was hurt again, and he's still hurt. So man, maybe there's some stuff with injuries. He's still. I mean, this is second year, but it would have been his first year as a starter. I think there's still a little more time there. Everybody's situation as a rookie or as a young player, it isn't the same path. Right? I've seen players have really rocky or crazy things happen, and now they come out to be superstars. So I still have some faith in him. I just want to see him healthy. But he's flashed at times. This season, not so much. I mean, he didn't really play, but there's some questions and as far as his coverage ability, and will he be able to progress and make strides in that aspect of his game? But yeah, I think he'll. Overall, I think Kobe Dean, he just it's yet to be seen.
It is still too early, and I think that especially when injuries happen, players have a chance to recover for sure. So I thought he would be pretty good, but so far he definitely hasn't lived up to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get to these super chats before they overwhelm us here. Brother Bob says Philly is the softest shitty city, and they act tough. Okay.
Yeah,
I've never been to Philly personally, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Philly is like garbage. Vegas love us, baby. Vegas love us.
Oh, there it is. Brother Bob coming through. Matt says, possible rain, slippery field, watch out. Yeah, that's one of those things that the Eagles have played in that weather for 2 weeks in a row. We know that they can play in it. I think that might be a little bit of an advantage for the Eagles if it happens. The forecast is kind of iffy right now. It looks like it's going to rain up until about an hour or two before the game and then kind of tail off, but we'll see. I think it definitely plays a factor for sure. Zach says this game is going to be epic. Win or lose, let's hope everyone comes out healthy. I agree. For our rematch in January, much love from Australia. You're my favorite content creator. Let's frickin' go Niners. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I starred this one because I think this is a really, really good question. He says, you two should make a bet. Because this is where this is coming from, by the way. This is coming from, I made a bet with the Dallas Cowboy content creator. He was so confident they were going to win. And he came through. Credit to him. He did his damn thing. He went out and bought the 49er hat. He wore it on stream. I'm down for whatever, but I don't want to force you into it either. But hey,
bro,
he's saying
you'll look good in some Kelly Green, man. Okay, get the Kelly Green snap back.
Listen,
get a Hurts jersey. Let's do it.
okay, let's do it. We'll do a hat bet. We'll do a hat bet. And I guarantee if I'm buying the hat, it's gonna be the flyest Eagles hat you can get. That's my thing is hats. So I'm not gonna get a weak Eagles hat. If I'm gonna rock it, I'm gonna have to rock it. I'm gonna make sure it's the throwback Kelly Green for sure. You know that. So all right, let's make the bet. We got it. There it is. Good job, Robert. Good job. Shady Luke. He tunes into my channel, has been here for a while, but he's actually an Eagles fan. He says, we love Sirianni, but my family as a whole, we say we'd have it out with Nick if we weren't Eagles fans. That's it right there. You love it when it's on your side, but when you have to go against it, oh, he's such a punchable face, isn't he? I'm not reading that, Brother Bob. Come on, man. Jeez.
Go back. No, you got to. I say jail or something.
I already pushed it off, but he said something along the lines of your background looks like you're in jail. Like, look at our Niners content creator with the flashy stuff in the background, like something. Yeah. Come on, man. Like, here's my thing. Brother Bob, you know this, Brother Bob, you know this. I am all fine with trash talking, but when somebody is coming on from another channel and giving us their time, you cannot go personal like that. I'm not going to allow it, man. Golly. Zach says, I get Jim Harbaugh vibes from Syria. That's actually a really good comparison. I kind of get Harbaugh vibes as well. And we loved Harbaugh. So, okay, maybe I get it a little bit more. Matt says, oh my God, dude, drop the soap. Here comes the tush push.
Wow.
Jeez. That's another thing, man. People really hate that thing.
We're number one in fourth down conversion. So I'm all fine with the tush push.
As you should be.
You spelled brotherly shove wrong, Matt.
I actually have zero issues with it. A lot of people want to get it banned. I think one team can execute it flawlessly. It's not like the whole league is doing it. It's not like it's taken away from the game. If one team can figure out how to do it and move it to their advantage, I don't think it's something you can ban. I think that would be.
You guys are going to see a daily dose of it.
Nobody can stop it, man. It's almost unstoppable. It really is. So it's such an advantage that when I look at the Eagles, everybody in the league is 1st and 10. The Eagles are 1st and 8. Really, if they get 8 yards, they're basically going to get a first down on down 3 or down 4.
Yeah.
You just can't stop it. My guy AC coming through. He says, Jesse's the man. Love you, big bro. Love you too, AC. It's been a while, man. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Appreciate you. Ryan G. Hensley says, X. Oh, I like this. Would you rather have Hurts on his contract or Brock on his? So this is a very different question on who's the better quarterback. It's who's the better quarterback with the contract stipulation. I like this question. This is a good one. What is your answer on that one?
Well, Brock Purdy, his projection is, I mean, he'll have a bigger contract, a bigger contract than Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, because that's how the market works.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would rather take Jalen Hurts is going to be cheaper. Right now, Brock Purdy is cheaper, but how he's playing, you guys are going to have to pay him. So, I will stick with Jalen Hurts. His contract is extremely cap friendly. And yeah, Brock Purdy is going to he's going to he's going to be with. All right, when is his contract? I mean, it's not until like a couple years.
They can
So,
pay him
um,
after next season. Next season. Yep.
oh
After
yeah,
next
so it's
season.
coming up. Yeah, he's gonna be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And that's gonna be crazy. But he's
That's
gonna
the way it
demand
goes.
X amount of dollars. He runs
Yeah.
you guys system to a T. He's like the perfect quarterback to have in that system for them. So yeah, he's gonna be the highest paid quarterback. So I would stick with Jalen Hurts.
That's
Because
fair.
I
That's
mean, we
fair.
know Jalen Hurts is proven already. He's 2-0 against Brock Purdy. So Brock Purdy, you know, well, is that accounted for a loss? No, he didn't finish the game, so
No,
he
he
don't he
started
don't get
it.
a
He
number.
started it. He started. So he's
Well, I
1
mean,
and 0 because they've
we're
only
still
played
looking at it
once.
as 0-2 because you started the game and you couldn't finish it. So I still feel like you lost that game because you couldn't finish out the job. You couldn't finish the job. So yeah, I'll say Jalen Hurts is 2-0 against Brock Purdy. Yeah, I'm picking Jalen Hurts all day. Like, yeah, that's
Are
easy,
you
right? You'll say
are
the
you do
same.
are you
You'll
doing
say
hold on,
Jalen.
hold on,
You
hold on,
say
hold on.
Jalen Hurts too. Come
Hold
on,
on.
man.
Hold on. Are you doing some forecasting here by picking because the Eagles, Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts have only played each other one time?
No, they played in college.
Oh, oh man,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
going back to
yeah, yeah,
college on
yeah.
me.
They played
That
it.
was a hell of a game, man. They both balled out in that
Yeah,
game, by the
that
way.
was
They
an
balled
amazing game.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay, I see where you're going with it. Okay. I was like, how is he getting 2 and 0? Where's this coming from? Uh well, Zach, sorry I didn't get to your super chat on time. It sounds like the bet's in place, man. The bet is in place.
wow.
Brother Bob says Wax City putting up a statue of Rocky. He fake.
Yes.
Rajbir says, has the 49ers faced a defensive scheme as the Eagles this season? Yeah, they definitely have. But it's about the players. I mean, schemes are one thing, but players are another. I actually have a question for you, and this parlays perfectly into it. And I didn't have this on the docket prior, but it just came to me. The Eagles defense, just in general, I really was tough on Gannon last year. Going into the Eagles game, I talked about
Yeah.
how I thought Gannon was a really bad defensive coordinator because the Eagles had so much talent and the way that they gave up yards and points at times was almost unexplainable to me. Yes, they went crazy with sacks and did that whole thing, but I still felt like there was meat left on the bone for that defense for as much talent as the Eagles had. Now they move on from him. They bring in Desai. He's done good, but it's still a bend, but don't break type of defense. The run defense is good. The pass defense is atrocious. Explain this to me. The Eagles have studs up and down that lineup. Is this a defensive coordinator problem? Is it a player problem? Like, why is the Eagles defense at times they seem listless? I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, we have to we have to acknowledge the fact that Jonathan Gannon, he had the fifth ranked pass defense going into the Super Bowl. I believe it was we were somewhere around with you guys, so I believe it was like fifth. Um, you look at the sack numbers, we were historic as far as sacks in the season. So a lot of the Um, a lot of the things that are being said about our defensive coordinators, this is a bit overblown. When
Okay.
you look at the totality of the season, it's not just about a couple games, or you have to look at things in its totality. And Jonathan Gannon, I mean, he was historic. And then you transition into a Sean Desai. This dude's a mastermind. He's been dealing with injuries in the secondary since he got here. So it's a constant shuffle, and he's figuring it out. He's shutting teams out in the second half. It's going to be some point in the ball game to where he's going to take over just from his style of how the adjustments they make. Honestly, you look at the Chiefs game. The Chiefs didn't score the second half. They didn't score. The Dallas Cowboys scored 6 points in the second half. Um, the Buffalo Bills was different, but there's times. I mean, you look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins were on fire when we played them, and probably a top offense, and we held them to 17 points. So yeah, and then we had the number one rush defense, so we know what you guys are going to do. Well, we know what opposing teams are, how they're going to try to attack us, because you're not going to be able to run the ball. So you're going to try to throw the ball, and at some point in these ball games, he's neutralizing those things. So I like Sean Desai more because he's more creative, and he's doing a fantastic job. His adjustments after coming out like into the second half has been brilliant. So, uh, man, we're really hard on our defensive coordinators for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, they've been fantastic, all things considered. Uh, yeah.
I remember this, Eagles fan. I remember this. That was the loss that catapulted the 49ers into a Super Bowl championship. I remember that. That was the Eagles
First
blew them
season.
out. Eagles blew them out in 94. Blew out the Niners. And then the Niners started around that year.
Bro,
Yeah.
I was a toddler. That's wild. That's so long ago.
Did you say you were a toddler?
That's crazy.
Oh man, oh man. Goodness sakes. That's funny. Okay, we got to that one. Brother Bob says, Nail, stop sugarcoating it. We bish slapping them bad. We'll see. I mean, I think there's definitely a path to it, but I do respect the Eagles. I do. Jesus says, I'm late, but I want both of your guys' opinion on Shady McCoy and Joy's comments on if the 49ers beat the Eagles, that won't mean that they're the best team. Okay. I'll give you my
It will.
opinion first.
It
I'll give you
will.
my
It
opinion.
will. It will.
Um, I I actually agree. I mean, these two teams are going to have to play each other again, and no matter who wins, this matchup is likely happening in the NFC Championship. I think this game is great. I think it does mean more for the 49ers than it does the Eagles, because if the 49ers lose, they have zero chance at the number one seed. If they win, they still need some help. But that number one seed is going to be very important, not only because that's the team that travels, but both of these teams have players that contribute that are a little long in the tooth on the other side of 30. That rest is going to be very, very important in a season that is a war of attrition. So this game's important. I think it means a little bit more for the 49ers because of that. But I don't think the team that wins is necessarily the better team. We'll see how that plays out in January, in my opinion. What do you think?
I mean, if you go into Philadelphia and beat, the best team within the last two seasons with a combined record of 20-2 at this point of the season last year and now, I mean, you're beating the best team in the NFL at home. So I mean, I would have to give them. I mean, just from I'm not going to be biased here. From a neutral standpoint, right? We went and beat the Chiefs at home. the defending champions. And I feel like we should have been crowned the best team in the NFL because the Chiefs don't lose at home. They're the reigning champions, and they beat us in the Super Bowl last year. So, and then they didn't give it. They didn't give it to us then. They still didn't give us our credit. So I'll give credit where credit is due. I feel like if the 49ers can come into Philadelphia and figure out a way to win, I mean, it'll still be a tie. It'll be 1-1, and maybe the tiebreaker will happen in the NFC Championship game. But there's no guarantees in football. So I would give it to them because I mean, right now we beat you guys last year in the playoffs, so I feel like I have the nod, or I can say with a definitive fact that hey, we're better than you guys. We're better than you because we beat you, right? So I'll give the nod to Philadelphia right now as the better team for obvious reasons. And if the 49ers can come into the league and beat a team that I consider is the best in the NFL, I'll give them a nod. I'll give them the slight edge.
Let me clarify. I think from a power ranking perspective, yes, the 49ers would have to be the best team. But I guess what I'm trying to say is being the best team after week 11 and number one in the power rankings doesn't win rings. You got to show me in the playoffs, either one of these teams. So that's the way that I see it. I agree. Right now, power rankings wise, yes, 49ers number one. I don't think that's debatable. But power rankings after week 11 don't win championships. They just don't.
You're waiting to the playoffs to see who's the better team.
Yeah, I want that. That's where it matters most, right?
Yeah.
Matt says our D line needs to go when Lane moves. So he's saying that y'all, listen, Lane Johnson be crazy with those false starts, and then the thing is, it's not even Lane. It's not even Lane. The backup was doing it. It was wild to me. The backup's doing it. I'm like, come on. But so what he's saying is the defensive line needs to jump with them so that they call the damn false start. Whew.
No, you just move when Lane Johnson moves. It's that simple. You don't go off the ball. You just wait until he moves. You just don't watch the ball. So,
yeah. I mean, that's it. And that's what he's saying is just move when he moves. I agree. I agree with him. That's absolutely the right thing. Jamil said, Jamil, y'all losing. Here's $2. See, I'm nice. He must be talking to somebody in your comment section. You're going at it. Dazza says, why has the Eagles defense been so bad this year? Statistically, they rank quite low, particularly against the pass. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I think his point was that they seem to lock down in the second half. It almost takes them like a half to kind of figure out the other team, and then they lock down. I mean, it's a bend but don't break pass defense. It is. I think that they've done pretty well in the red zone, especially in the second half, but they give up a ton of yards. It is kind of mind-blowing to me because I think the Eagles defense is very, very talented. Moises says, any advice for the visiting Niners fans? I'm tailgating with a big group of San Francisco fans and don't mind chirping as long as no one gets physical. Is it really that bad at the link? Like, people, the way they talk is like, oh my God, you're guaranteed to get in a fight over there. Is that really the case or no?
It's not, man, that's crazy. We get such a bad rap, Eagles fans, but we're just passionate and love our team. All right, some of that stuff that happened, it happens with all fan bases that's passionate. The 49ers are just as wild and reckless at times, right? And I mean, I think it's just passion. It's just passion. And
That's fair.
I think you'll be fine. Nothing really happens. Even Fred Warner, his wife was saying she had a bad experience, and like we knew that was BS. Like, come on, guys, like it's just so overblown. You go there, you have a good time with your family and the people around you, and you just vibe out to a good game like anywhere else, and then you go home. So I mean, it's
overblown.
There
You
are
think?
some fans and people who actually have that type of animosity. 49ers fans as well. So maybe they'll clash, but just innocent people who just want to enjoy and have a good time. Nothing's going to happen to you. That's so overblown. Like
I think every
it's
fan base has
ridiculous.
a
It's
few
ridiculous.
turds in it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I've never
everybody
been
has some
there.
bad apples in a
Yeah,
bunch.
they do. They do. Matt McEwen says slippery field was a shot at the Eagles Super Bowl excuse. All right, fair enough. Cryptic says there is talk about the Eagles winning games that they shouldn't be winning, getting lucky, playing bad football, and then you have the Niners who are winning coming from blowouts. Whose situation is sustainable? I'll say this: if you want to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to figure out how to win tight games. And whether it's the Eagles that do it to the 49ers or the Ravens or whoever, the 49ers would benefit from being in a tight game and figuring out how to win that just for themselves because they're going to be in a dogfight at some point in the playoffs. It's going to happen. Nobody skates freely to a Super Bowl. So as far as sustainability, I think the Eagles are going to find themselves in a dogfight in the playoffs and they're going to have a chance to win that. The 49ers are not going to go through the whole playoffs blowing everybody out. The league is just too good when you get to those final few teams. So I think sustainability comes down to the team that plays in the tight games and knows how to win those games, personally.
Can I add something to that? Eight of our 10 wins have been in one possession game. So it's like the team we find ways to win, and you don't want to be in those situations every week, but it shows a lot of character. And it's always good to have those games and come out on top. Right. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of people look at Minnesota last year. Minnesota was similar to that, where it was like they had 13 wins by one possession or less. This is not the Minnesota Vikings, right? When you watch the Minnesota Vikings, it was a lot of they were getting
right.
lucky. Those games played out
Yeah.
very, very differently. So to
Yeah.
me, this team just went to a Super Bowl. They're showing they can win close games. This is not a Minnesota Vikings situation, in my opinion. The Eagles are just a good team that plays tight games and they're figuring out a way to win. So Moises says, I will say every time I've been to an Eagles tailgate, it's always the 20-year-old white girls sticking out the middle finger with their boyfriends that are too drunk. Well, then you don't have anything to worry about. You're good to go. Keith says Sirianni is the coach version of Dennis Rodman. All right. All right. Oh, man. He's going at it with somebody named Jamil in the chat. He says, wait, Jamil has to come back on with the Niners hat? All right. Wow, we gave Vish shit about his background. Yeah. But that's different. Like, so there's another 49er content creator who's like has a blank background and we always give him shit about it. But he doesn't know us, right? Like, he doesn't know us. It's different. Golly. Shady Luke says people don't know this, but the Eagles were nearly impossible to stop under Peterson when Carson Wentz did his QB sneaks. It's a good point. It's because you had that center and he's still there. So that's a big reason for it, man. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. All right, let's get back to these topics. Tell me where you think the Eagles have an advantage in this game, X.
Advantage. I really, it's these two teams are just on paper statistically they're so evenly matched to where I honestly think it's going to maybe come down to turnovers. But it's kind of hard to pinpoint, where the advantages are, especially when you're going up against such a good team like the 49ers. Then you look at defensively, um, they're top five in a lot of categories. And they're just I can't. It's hard, man. It's a good defense. I know they're 12th in pass yards and their third down conversion. They give up a lot of plays on third down. I have the stats here. If you look at the San Francisco 49ers defensively, you look at some of their overall defense. Uh, they're 21st in third down conversions. So if we can find a way to get them in those third and manageables, and we can stay on the field get some sustained drives, I think we'll be fine. But it's more about how do we move the ball against this defense. But I think we can get them on third down, stay on the field. Time of possession. You know, get some brotherly shoves and stay on the field and control the game that way. And I think we can get them on third downs. Now, how do you
It's
move the ball?
interesting with the
How do you move the
49ers.
ball against them?
Yeah.
You have to attack their corners. We're going to have to throw the ball. We'll have to throw the ball. But yeah, it's tough. The defense is averaging 15. You guys are giving up 15 points per game, right? So it's not like this isn't. There's not a lot of holes. There's not a lot of ways you can, really. You can't do much against a defense like the 49ers. I'll be honest. So it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight, and that's a credit to the 49ers defense. Yeah, where's your weakness? You probably know better than me, man.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Maybe the corners.
Yeah. I think, and I don't know if it's necessarily a weakness, but you have to look at it. The defensive line is stacked with all pro caliber players. Both linebackers on the 49ers are absolutely legit. Everybody talks
Yeah,
about Fred Warner, but Dre Greenlaw is almost every bit as good as
right.
Fred Warner. He's incredible. So the weakness has to be the secondary, right? They're not littered with all
Yeah,
pros.
yeah,
And I think when I look at the Eagles, the way that the offensive line is, it is one of the few offensive lines that can keep this defensive pass rush in check a bit. And with that, now all of a sudden, AJ Brown and Devonta Smith become menaces. If you got to cover them for three and a
yeah.
half, 4 seconds, that can be a problem. And so I look at that. I agree with you on the third down thing. The 49ers, even last year when their defense was really good, I remember talking about it for
Yeah,
most of the season. They were the worst team in stopping third down and short. If it was third and
yeah.
one, the 49ers weren't stopping you. Well, the Eagles do that better than anybody in the league. So, those things are
Every
going
team
to
throws the
matter.
ball against you guys.
Yeah.
Pass play percentage from opposing teams are 66.2%. So that's 31st in the NFL. So that's almost bottom to last. So everybody's coming out and saying, "Hey, we're going to throw the ball against this team." Um, yeah, and they're 12th in pass yards allowed per game, so they're only giving up 213. That's where you're going to have to get your yards and try to stay on the field and figure out a way to win. But you probably have to throw the ball against them.
I
Yeah,
think
it's a
I
good defense. Listen, you guys have a good defense, man. I'll be honest.
it's good. It's listen, it's very, very good. I also think though, I want to throw this out there. I think a lot of those stats can be skewed because the 49ers are blowing teams out. And so teams have to pass. They don't really have a choice. When you're down 3 scores, like what else are you going to do? You're going to try to run the
Yeah,
ball in the third quarter? Like
right.
that ain't going
Yeah,
to happen.
that's fair. That's fair.
Right. But
Right.
the 49ers run defense statistically is very good. There have been times, I will say this, X, there have been times throughout this season where
Yeah.
teams have dedicated themselves to the run and they've ran the ball very effectively. So I think Hurts and Swift, that combination with that offensive line, if they can be a little bit tricky on where the ball's going and be smart on the keepers, I think that can put a little bit of strain on the 49ers as well. So I think that's an interesting matchup.
Right now, you guys are second in rush yards allowed per game
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
82. So yeah, we were number one at one point, and coming in, you're gonna try to run the ball against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's not gonna work. Then you're gonna start throwing the ball, right? So, and the same with 49ers. You try to run the ball, and don't look. This team is they kind of fight the same way. They run the ball, they play defense, they get pressure on the quarterback. So these teams they're built very similar in ways. So that's what makes it intriguing. It really look because the Philadelphia Eagles have the O line and the players with a running quarterback with a dominant O line to actually be able to run the ball. So they could come out and say, let's just hit them in the mouth and keep running the ball at them. And then that'll be a man, and you guys say, okay, we're gonna run the ball too, and it just be it's gonna be it's just
Dog
gonna be
fight,
a
physical
brawl,
dog fight.
man. I want to see a lot of physicality, like the championship game, the fights, it was, I don't know, man, I don't know. You
Speaking
see,
of
and
brotherly shoves,
I haven't really been a breakdown of the, I just looked at some stats and kind of,
mhm.
but this is helping out with, I'm getting a little. I'm seeing different scenarios now that, man, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and I know that like everybody, they have their own content. You have your own schedule. Maybe Thursday, Fridays when you do a full breakdown. But I'll
Yeah,
give you some insight onto what you can expect from the 49ers, what maybe strengths could
yeah,
be, but sometimes stats don't always tell the full history. You know what
you're
I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll definitely do my best to give that to y'all for sure. So that way you can use it for content later in the week and talk about it and whatever. But I was going to say, speaking of the brotherly shove, though, and physicality, Trent Williams last year getting real pissed at the end of that game and starting the fight. So maybe it'll get chippy early this time around. We'll see how it goes. Alan says, "Fly Niners, fly." All right, all right. Look at that. He's showing the Eagles symbol there. Brother Bob says, "I said Philly is cheap NYC." Okay. I've never been to NYC or
That's
Philly, so
proven.
I can't tell you. Brother Bob says Hertz is proven Super Bowl loser. Typical Philly.
Mm.
Ooh, come on. Hertz is pretty good. Hertz is pretty good. Brother Bob says Red Eye, super chat me to talk to me. Fake fan. Laugh out loud. Shady Luke says, look at the Miami game. It's the third down defense. You talking about, your team. Okay, okay. So y'all are good on third down? Is that what he's saying?
I mean, our third down defense. Okay, let's see how good are we
Yeah,
on
what's the
third down?
percentage? I'm curious on that one.
Oh no, we're horrible. We're
Oh.
horrible. I don't even want to say what it. No, we're 30th.
So
We're
there you go.
30th, man. Come on,
So
who
is he
said
saying that
that?
in a bad?
Wow.
You might be saying it in a
Come
bad
on,
way. I don't know,
bro.
man.
We suck on third
Ra-
down.
Randall says Commander scored twice over 30. Explain that. That's what I'm talking about, man. With the talent they have, it's crazy to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Matt says Eagles don't set the edge on outside zone runs. Will eat. I think they gamble a lot. I think the Eagles gamble a lot. I think that's how Brock Purdy got injured last year was because of the Eagles gambling. And Hassan Reddick in particular, he doesn't bite on play action or handoffs. He goes straight for the quarterback. And if he guesses right, it's a big play. And if he guesses wrong, it can be a big play the other way. So, yeah, I definitely think the 49ers can eat if he's not going to play disciplined and they want to run the ball right at him. But, that can go both ways too. You run play action, you can be in trouble. Brother Bob says Niners 34, NYC's leftovers 17. 34-17? Damn. Okay. All right. All right. Ooh. I don't want to say you're wrong, Brother Bob, because you've been right on some of these. Jazza says there were rumors that the Bills players were receiving threats and threats to their family. I mean, is that everybody, though? I mean, we've done that. Like 49er fans
I
have done
have the
that.
audio of the entire video. That's a lie. I have the entire video.
Oh, do you
I
really?
have the whole video. Yeah, I have the
Mhm.
video. It's crazy.
And again, if it did happen, I mean, it's not the whole fan base. You know what I mean? He
But that
says,
players, those are things players actually go through. It's been well documented this year as well. So that's a real thing. It's
it is.
unfortunate. It sucks.
Yeah. And it comes from all fan bases. It's awful.
Yeah,
Um,
but as a
I mean,
player, come on, you can't do what you can't physically touch a fan. Like that's crazy.
I
That's
know.
just crazy.
He says, I understand Mahomes and Allen getting busy, but Sam Howell and Mac Jones throwing it up and down the field was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shady Luke says, Jesse, thank you. The Eagles are not Minnesota. No, you're not. You're not Minnesota. I promise you that. The Eagles are last year's Vikings. No, they're not. They're not. I'm telling you, they're not. This is different. It is not the same. Man. Brother Bob, I thought Pigeon's YouTube guy was no, his name is X. Where did you get Jamil from? Never once did I say Jamil. It's X. X. Yeah, there it is. Brother Bob says Jets stomped all over y'all. We about to coffin y'all easily.
We'll see.
I mean, every team's gonna lose at some point. That's a weird loss, but when you beat Miami and you beat Kansas City, I don't know, man. All right, we're almost through these super chats. That's why I just wanted to run through these real quick. Elite Archer says, I ain't a homer like 90% of Niners fans. Eagles ain't nothing to worry about. Kyle will be conservative and blow it. So he's saying that we're gonna lose. He's saying Kyle's gonna lose it. He's saying that 90% of Niners fans. He's saying 90% of Niners fans are saying the Eagles ain't nothing to worry about. Cryptic says, "Is this a rivalry in the making?" I'd say so. I'd say this is a personal game for both. Moises says, "I read a lot of Eagles fans throwing heat at the OC. Is that a big sentiment right now?" Thoughts?
Yeah. Early in the season, the red zone efficiency scoring was horrible. It was terrible, and things have gotten much better. So that was a huge. And I was big on Brian Johnson. I was calling for his job, honestly. I was way too animated and just radical at the time because I was just I just didn't like what I was seeing. He has no prior experience in the NFL. Right. So that was the thing. I just had it. I just had my doubts about him the entire time. But he has the players. When you have all of this talent, how are you not successful? You have to be successful with all of these pieces, right? So, yeah, I was really critical of him, but he's turned it around. He's doing some things. That looks really creative, and sometimes you have to gel with your players. It's a new offensive coordinator. This type of things like this take time, especially when we have a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator, right? So those type of things take time. Um, so a lot of the fans, I think, is a little overblown, honestly. And I was one of those guys. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, you got to get it together. And he's figured it out. So I mean, I'm proud of I'm proud of how he has the offense looking right now. But yes, that was the thing. It was a big sentiment. Yes, and still right now, people want him gone. People still want the man gone. So it's still going on.
Interesting. Here's my thought on it, and I haven't watched every game inside and out, but what I will say is Shane Steichen. You guys had Shane Steichen, and he was special. Shane Steichen was. It's hard to go from special and just expect. Of course, what's going to come in next is not going to be as good as that. And as much crap as I gave Gannon, and I thought Gannon was leaving meat on the bone, I think Steichen was elite, and that was a big loss.
I'll say this: a lot of this is honestly Jalen Hurts. You need players at the end of the day. It's about the players. Yeah, the system is going to put them in position to make plays, but they also have to. They're out there performing. So that's the biggest. You look at all right. Last year we were 10-1 at this juncture of the season, and right now we're 10-1 with two different offensive coordinators. So I think a lot of it. I think Jalen Hurts he gets more credit, in my opinion, than some of these than Shane. But Shane was awesome. I think Shane unlocked some of the things he was really good at. Shane knew how to use his abilities and knew what he was capable of. And Shane was a masterful. I don't want to take anything away from Shane because I love Shane. Right, but he had Jalen Hurts is just the perfect. It was a perfect chemistry. It was just man. It hurts that he's not with us anymore. I really like him. I'm high on him. He's one of my favorite my favorite coaches. You know,
Yeah,
Buck's
and
one of my favorite coaches.
I gotta
He
imagine
was
that
great.
philosophy was carried over though, right? Like a lot of the stuff that's being ran now was just carryover from Steichen. I would hope that they would keep a lot of that in place.
Yeah, but it's there's some it's a new coordinator, so it's some of it's the same. It's a lot of difference. It's a lot of differences in it as well, and it takes a lot of growing. It takes some growing pains, a lot of miscommunications, and things get rocky. Right when even Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown are clearly not on the same page, and so it's all relative to uh, how. All right, so for instance, I don't really get into a lot of X's and O's, but the RPO style system that Shane implemented for Jalen Hurts, he now has a third option. So you have the option, the RPO, run pass option. But
Mhm.
now it's like they built in a third option in a lot of different plays and looks, and it's really complicated. And if it feels unstoppable, you have three options on each play. You have routes that can break off into different options, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to process all of that. That's just crazy. But
It is
it's really
crazy.
cool offense. It's going to take time because that
Yeah.
stuff is just you got to process things so fast. So yeah, I think man, once they get it down pat, I mean AJ Brown, he broke the NFL record for most 125-yard receiving games consecutive. So everybody right now they're double teaming AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. But AJ Brown looks unstoppable in his offense. So yeah, there's definitely there's some nuances to it for sure.
Is there a chance that Goddard plays this week? Because they didn't put him on injured reserve for a reason.
Man, we need all hands on board, honestly. And he was eyeing this game to come back. I think he plays. I think Lane plays. Everybody's gonna go. I think if you can go, we need all hands on deck. So in big games like the Cowboys game, and everybody just that was injured, they all end up playing. So I know Lane. We know Lane's.
Yeah.
But hey, he can push the play. He can really push the play. I would give him the nod as well. I would give him the nod as well.
That'd
And
be
if
a
it wasn't
huge
the
get back.
49ers, I would let him rest. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I would let him. But I think he's going to push the play. I can't really call it. Of course, I'm not a part of the medical staff. But typically, when it's a big game, we unload all of the injured guys, and they just miraculously ready to play now. But this is his timetable. This
Yeah.
is right around his timetable. It doesn't look off or sketchy. So I think he'll play. He's a tough one. I hope he does.
That'll be
Hope
a
he
huge
does.
get. That'd be a huge get if he's able to play. It would be. That'd be huge. So, all right, X, here we go, man. This is it. This is what we're all here for. I now have a hat bet with you with the encouragement of the chat. So, I know you're not picking the Eagles to lose with a hat bet on the line, but I do got to get the final score prediction. What is your final score for the 49ers and Eagles game? How much did the Eagles win by? Give me that.
I say right now that I'll say 28-17. I'll say 28-17. I think we get them. That's my score prediction. I'm going 28. I'm going 28-17.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Okay. Okay. Man, I really wish I knew for sure if it was going to rain or not, because that's going to hold down the score a little bit if it does. But I think the 49ers are needing this game in a big way. I think the 49ers are a little bit more healthy. They're a little bit more rested. Debo Samuel, I'm talking to you. you have to be the one that comes out and sets the tone the way that you talked after the way that game went last year. You're the one that's talked the most. You have to be the one that sets the tone in this game. And I expect that he will. I think that he's going to come out and have a really good game. I'm going to go 31-23 Niners. They get it done in enemy territory. And they're number one in the power rankings come Monday morning. That's the way I see it.
That's definitely a bold prediction. That's a bold prediction.
Listen, man, you only gave us 17 points. I mean, I think that's pretty bold.
Yeah, right. I mean, Brock Purdy, you look at Brock Purdy, and I know psychologically he's still thinking about, that shoulder and that Hassan Reddick guys over there. So, I mean, that plays a factor as well. I mean, Hassan Reddick knocked him out of the game, man. He had surgery on his shoulder, a young guy coming in, and now, man, I would be beating on this guy, caused a great amount of bodily damage to my shoulder. Was it his torn shoulder?
It was his elbow, UCL in his elbow. Yep.
It was the elbow, which was on his torn.
Yep.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, bro. Yeah, I think we get to Brock Purdy. I think he's gonna fold. I think he's gonna fold like a lawn chair. I don't
think it's gonna happen. Brock Purdy's built for it, man. I'm telling you.
And I want a good, clean game. I don't want the refs to get involved because I know that the refs have been looking like they've been favoring us. So as long as, but overall, great. I just want great officiating. I want everybody healthy. And I just want to see I want to see a good game. I want to see a really good game. I want everybody to get out because we got to see you guys again. Regardless, we're going to want a rematch. After the outcome of this game, we're going to want to see each other again. Because now it's a blood feud. It's a blood feud, man.
It's personal, man. It really is.
On the overlay. See, it's blood's been shed, and I can't wait, bro. I cannot wait. I'm too hyped up.
I love it. I love it. Blake says, here's a donation, X. Buy a 49ers hat. All right. Dazza says, do Eagles fans consider Cowboys or Lions as threats, or do they think the NFC is just between us and the Niners? Good question. It sounds like you think it's just between us, but do you consider either of those teams threats?
No.
I don't either. I don't either.
Dallas Cowboys? You know what? I wanna thank you guys.
We agree.
For what let me just thank you guys for what you did to the Dallas Cowboys. You showed the world early that they were frauds. Like, thank you. Like you guys whooped them. I was impressed with that win. I'm not lying. You see George Kittle with the shirt underneath the oh, that was amazing. But they're frauds. They're frauds. So of course the Lions, nobody works. Come on, it's the Lions. No. It's Eagles 49ers. The Lions come.
I'm with you. I'm with you. That's the two teams. James says if the Niners win this week, they will. And the Cowboys somehow route them at home, is the number one seed ours? So here's the scenario, James. If the 49ers win out and the Eagles lose one more game outside of this one, the 49ers have the number one seed. But that's, again, they have to win out and the Eagles would have to lose one more. So in your scenario, yes, the 49ers would have it. If the 49ers lose this game, it's over. Like, they're not going to get the number one seed. If they win it, they still need some help. I think Dallas, division games are always different, right? Like, we may look at Dallas and kind of big brother them and not take them seriously. But I think division games are always interesting and can be tough. I think there is a chance that Dallas, historically, they do well against Philly there. They can get that done. For me, as a 49er fan, if the 49ers win this, I'm looking at that Ravens game and saying, Lamar Jackson's something like 19-1 against the NFC. Niners have to figure out a way to stop Lamar and win that game. And then I'll feel a lot better about a possibility of a number one seed. But the 49ers have business to take care of outside of this game if they win it too. It's not just going to be given to
Ravens?
Yeah, we got the Ravens. Christmas night at home.
That's
It's gonna be a
good.
game, right?
That's gonna be a good.
You'll be enjoying your Christmas on that one. Familia says 46 minutes behind, but as a Niners fan, I just feel we was robbed from a great game. But still, the Niners coming after that ass on Sunday. Good luck and hopefully a good game. This to me is where it's at. It's not about would they have won or lost. That to me, and going into the game, that was my narrative. X was talking about how great this game was going to be. I thought it was going to be an instant classic, like one of those ones that you turn on NFL films 10 years later and we watch the NFC Championship. I thought that was going to be it.
It was an instant classic for me. It
Oh,
was an instant classic.
come on.
It was an instant classic. It wasn't.
Not in that way.
What were you watching? That was a classic. It was an instant classic.
Oh, y'all dirty for that one. Brother Bob says, X, you cool to come back with your new fresh Niners hat.
No, man. No way.
He says, let me contribute $2 like Blake did. Go get a gold Niner hat. Nice.
Stop sending. Don't send no more contributions to a Niners hat. What? No more. No more super chats.
He's not doing it.
Crazy. Hey, your people crazy.
Keith says, as a Philly fan, do you think the rest and injuries hurt y'all? So us having more rest and you guys being injured. Us being rested and you guys having injuries, I think.
I mean, not really. I don't really look. I think this team is just hardwired to. With the injuries, they're not as bad as they seem. I would like to have a healthy secondary, but the fact that we've had the same group in for 3 games in a row, I can live with that. Now, our defensive tackle, some of our D linemen, we have a nice healthy amount of bodies with Will Williams coming back. So the injuries aren't really a concern. Lane Johnson was just a precautionary tale. He could have went if he needed to, but we knew we had the 49ers coming up, and we wanted to save them from saving for the 49ers. It was raining, and it was just. I think it seem like it's a bit overblown. But I think we're fine. I think the injuries are fine. Rest.
I think he had that core injury last year.
You guys got more rest, so you'll have the advantage as far as rest. But the injuries, I'm not. Are you guys injured at all? Who's injured over there?
So
safety.
Talanoa Hufunga's out for the year.
Let's talk about the 49ers injuries.
Okay, let's talk about them for a second. I think this is good. So Talanoa Hufunga is out for the year. He was an all-pro safety last year. He was having a decent year, but he wasn't playing like all pro Talanoa Hufanga from last year. Now we've got the rookie Jair Brown, who has come in and played phenomenally in the couple games that he's played throughout that injury. So we're feeling good about that. But here's a new one, and this one is Big X. This one we had no idea about. It popped up today, and much like Lane Johnson, where I think Lane Johnson was a precautionary sit because he had the core injury last year that can kind of be related to the groin area. Eric Armstead, who missed a lot of time last year with foot injuries on both feet, actually, popped up today on the injury report, did not practice with a foot injury. So that's huge because Eric Armstead is a big reason why we are stout against the run in the middle of that defense. So we'll see how that plays out. Brother Bob says
you think he'll play, right? You think he'll play if you had to say? If you had to say.
Man, if I had to say, I would say yes, but I will also say this. If it's plantar fasciitis, which he had last year, that kept him out for about 6 games. So I don't know. That's tough. That's tough, man. It's tough. Brother Bob says you're high because of your score prediction. He wants to know how many blunts you've smoked. And he says instant classic because that's the only way that you can win. And then Moises says favorite restaurant in Philly. Favorite restaurant in Philly? This is a good question. No cheesesteak.
Favorite restaurant in Philly? No cheesesteak. I would say there's a mom and pop shop. It's called Georgina's, and they're amazing. I mean, there's cheesesteaks there. There's cheesesteaks in all the top restaurants in Philly. But I would definitely say Georgina's. I like their mozzarella steaks, and they have like some celery bites. It doesn't even taste like it's a vegetable, right? And with the dipping ranch, they make the dipping ranch. The dipping ranch is what does it, but they make it from scratch. Everything's made with love. Shout out to Georgina's, bro. It's probably my favorite restaurant. It's my favorite restaurant in Philly.
I think I've actually heard of them before. I don't think you're the first person I've heard that from. So they gotta be good. They gotta be good. Brother Bob says, "Don't be soft. Come back with a gold hat." Right?
Stop.
Blake says, "Get that gold hat. Not just our color. It's standard." And then Keith ends it off and says, "That's why I think this is just as big for Philly as us. They want to eliminate us from the number one so that they don't have to win other games. If Philly loses, that game opens up the race for the top seed." X and I were talking about this. We were talking about this. We agree. It is big. I don't want to downplay it and say that it's not big for Philly, because it is. I also think there really is a personal factor, but I think it's a little bit bigger for the 49ers. That's just me. James says, "Man, I've been a Niners fan since the third grade. We lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship. Nothing but heartbreak since. This is our year." Brother, I hope you are right, man. I hope you're right. He says no. Keith says, "This game is the difference between Philly being able to cruise and to a postseason, only to rest them being in a dogfight for the rest of the year." It's a good point. I mean, if Philly wins this game, they do kind of get to cruise a little bit, and that's not good, because then they're very well rested going into the playoffs. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. X, my man, thank you so much for putting this together with me, man. I really appreciate you. I know we have the bet. So if the 49ers lose before the end of next week, so on one of my streams next week, I will have a Kelly Green Eagles hat. If the 49ers win, no. Okay, what is it?
Wait. Listen, since this is turned into a rivalry, let's up the stakes, right? I get to pick what did you wear.
Okay, I like this. I like this. Okay. I like it. Okay. That's
so
fair.
We're doing hats or jerseys, or what? We're doing hats. Okay, cool.
Let's do hats. Let's do hats.
We get to pick. So
okay.
Deal?
You get to pick my hat and I get to pick your hat. And let's do this. Let's one up it. We'll do this again in the NFC Championship, and the losing guy has to wear the other team's hat on that stream too.
Wait. You know what? Deal.
Let's get it done. There we go. That's the bet. We got it locked in. Brother Bob says, "X, seriously, Philly talk, mad game, but so soft." All right, Brother Bob, we about to see, man. You talked enough ish for all of us. It's about to go down. X, thank you so much. Link is in the description to his channel. Go subscribe to him. My man, you got like 50,000 subs. He's doing his damn thing over there. Go subscribe to him, though. If nothing else but to talk trash after the game, check him out. X, appreciate y'all. Chat, stay blessed. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.